All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back for another Dota 2 Super League match. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here today by Luminous and currently watching the pregame show, wrapping up, getting ready to jump into the game just about any minute now. Lumi, it's LGD China with DD back on the roster versus a new and very revitalized TongFu. King J and Banana have joined their ranks. Banana playing support, a very versatile player in his own right, and King J to the 3 position, and frankly, TongFu, one of the scariest teams in China right now, arguably, in some people's eyes, the second best team after IG in terms of their current form. And I think Lumi might not be with me just yet.
Hola.
Hello.
I was waiting for you to give me the priority,
there you
but
go.
it never came. All right, thank you.
So it seems Zhao Ji is, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but Xiaoweit's girlfriend from the show, the dating show, is actually casting the Dota.
Yeah, they were kind of, she actually knew pretty much about Dota. I was somewhat surprised. She plays Dota, obviously. And during the I was listening to what she was saying. She says she's getting stomped by Chuan in pubs. So, okay, well.
Who isn't getting stomped by
exactly, so, you know, yeah. She's one of us now, so.
Yeah. You figure she has the inside advantage, right? Playing with Xiaowei and getting under his tutelage, you should learn the game pretty damn fast. But she was a Dota fan even before they started dating, as I understand it anyway. So really cool to see her involved in the show. And, of course, 820, rocking a pretty nice hairstyle as well. I gotta say, speaking of hairstyles, did you see Hal's latest do?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, that is a monstrosity. That thing needs to be... I mean, Hao had he had a really cute Bieber kind of haircut going on, and oh man, the horrible things he's done to his hair. I'm thinking I need a new hairstyle for... well, I don't have much hair to work with, but when I was looking at Hao, and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I need. Just slice it off in all the wrong places. Look at that. I love Hal. I'm not a fan of this haircut though.
I need to go on. I need to go on Twitch right now. But
either way, they are introducing TongFu. So I mean, I suppose on a more relevant note, looking at this matchup, it's pretty interesting. You look at the storyline coming into this one, and LGD China, they had a guaranteed spot at the International 2013. They chose to make a roster change after receiving their invite, and TongFu gets the nod. They get bumped into the qualified spot, or the invited spot. LGD back down to the qualifiers. They felt they had to make this change, and from what Brax was saying on Much Ado About Dota, basically LGD, they don't care about just doing well at the International. For them, it's all about being able to win the event, and they just didn't feel they could do it with long DD, so they've added DD back to the roster. They feel he's a more suitable choice for going deep into the event. They certainly went pretty far with him last year, and well, now they got to get there, Lou, man. If you're TongFu on the other side, you got to be thinking, there's got to be a part of them that say, we want to prove that we deserve that spot, and I'm sure that's somewhere in the minds, if not of the players, then certainly for a lot of the fans. Is TongFu deserving of that spot?
Well, for me, is LG good enough to make it out the Eastern qualifier? Because
that too.
So far, they look like they're not good enough to make it out. They had a couple of matches again against Vichy Gaming. That's kind of the big one to prove, or not prove, but maybe shake the confidence of themselves, maybe, as well as their fans. TongFu on the other side, 3-0 Zenith on the other day when I casted with Gauss for the AMD Premier League, and they look completely legit as a top 4 finisher of TI3. That's saying a lot.
If they play like that when it counts, absolutely. And this is a team that I feel has really benefited from their roster changes, especially adding a player like King J. That brings a lot to the table. TongFu, they I never felt like they had really that stable presence as sort of their 3 position, and they not only get that, they get a player that can make plays from that role, and big plays of that. King J, obviously known for being a very consistent performer on LAN for a long time. Back, I mean, even before the eHome days in some ways. This guy's been around for a long time, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the table here today. He'll be in the captain's chair. He'll be drafting. And speaking of which, Lumi, it's time to get ourselves inside the game. Game 1 now about to be underway. So we're going to roll the intro, guys, when we come back. Game 1 will be coming. We are back and we're live, and that's not the right overlay, but now we're set. LGD China versus TongFu, a battle of two teams who have received invites to the International 2013 within the past, not even month, but really within the past few weeks or so. LGD China lost theirs when they chose to make a roster change. TongFu, the ones who got the nod, and now it's going to be a battle of two Chinese titans, not quite at that level of perfection that we saw from Invictus Gaming earlier today, but two teams that are looking to find their stride. For TongFu, it's about proving themselves and getting off to a good start in their first match for the Dota 2 Super League. As for LGD China, well, it's a little more straightforward for them. It's all about getting ready for the International 2013 Eastern Qualifiers, scheduled to kick off, and I think it's around 36 hours, maybe a little bit longer than that. I'm LDM Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here today by Luminous, and we're going to cast some good old-fashioned Chinese Dota.
I'm digging TongFu's tags right now. I mean, they are repping their sponsors.
Can you translate these?
It's something TongFu. TongFu something. I don't.
Thank you, Lou.
No problem. I always loved the team when they had. I think Dare was the team first to do it. It's so smexy to see them. To give their sponsor a little bit of love. Represent their team.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. Zhaoji, of course, is in the casting booth, so she'll be shamelessly rooting for Xiao 8 during this broadcast if you're watching the Chinese stream, which, if you speak Chinese, you really should, because 820's casting, that's always a treat. But as for us, over on the English casting side of things, we're going to see what TongFu have up their sleeves this game. Lumi, you cast them playing versus Zenith, and you mentioned in our quick pregame chat, they 3-0'd Zenith. Talk to me more about how were they picking, what was their style versus Zenith, and do you think we're going to see a similar thing here today?
For me, when they won, they didn't do anything flashy. It wasn't from a wisp pick. It wasn't from any kind of crazy strategy where, you do Alchemist, which may be a little bit untraditional, or you do kind of big push strat. They just play a solid standard game, and they don't make any mistake. Very traditional of a, like an older Chinese team, a very methodical, push down towers, and then I go Roche, and then I win team fights, etc., etc. You don't make any type of big plays. Kind of the MVP player / hero for me is Mu. He's really good with the clockwork. I see him in one game was like 11-0-2 or something like that. On top of the initiation, it was always against the Magnus as well. You kind of mentioned it earlier when the IG versus Vichy Gaming, how good clockworks always find that Magnus and prevent that Blink Dagger initiation. And Mu is completely on top of that. So if LGD Gaming don't pick up clock here, which I don't expect them to, look towards TongFu picking up a clock very early. It's one of their best heroes, and Mu play it beautifully.
And you could pick that hero, and it still leaves your options wide open as far as how you want to approach the game. It just gives you such a disruptive hero in the fights, like you mentioned. LGD China will go for the Nyx Assassin first pick. There's also a Mag in the pool. If they go for the clock mid, then I don't think we'll see the Mag. He's just not a strong or suitable offlaner nowadays, and just Skewer not really being that effective since the nerfs. But what will they go for? The options are wide open. King J's been playing a lot of Weaver as of late. I imagine more as a situational response to Lifestealer, but we'll see. I think this TongFu team, you mentioned they're not super flashy or crazy with their draft, but they're a versatile team. Having players like King J and Banana, they can really take this a number of directions. Oh, how did I forget? There's a Bat Rider in the pool, and what do you know? TongFu will snap that up as well as the Mag, and I gotta say, sure, LGD get Nyx, but I am never comfortable with the team giving away Bat Rider.
Yeah, Bat Rider just allows you to kind of angle your offense so much. I'm just thinking about defending your tier 2s, for example, 25 minutes in the game, and there's a Bat Rider coming out of Forest on one of those side lanes. You just don't know where he is going to come from, especially with a Blink Dagger and Forest Tap on top of that. But LD, I gotta ask you, should I change my compendium here a little bit? I'm so far putting in the Eastern Qualifier that Bat Rider will be the most banned hero, but so far in the 3 games that were casted so far, there hasn't been a Bat ban. It's in fact been Lifestealer and Gyrocopter and Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it Bat still the safe kind of auto ban, or the most banned hero?
I mean, for me, it's the Magnus, it's the Bat Rider, and it's the Lifestealer. And then maybe right below those, the Lone Druid is the heroes you're most likely to see getting banned out consistently by the Asian team. Sometimes they'll ban other heroes like we see here. The Gyrocopter, the Shadow Demon, but those 3 and maybe the Lone Druid are my 4 candidates. And out of those, I would say Bat's just the most versatile. He's the one that can go jungle really efficiently. He doesn't need a whole lot of farm. He can lane and dominate his lane. Mag pretty much demands solo mid. Sure, he's amazing at it. as far as those melee ridiculous teamfight heroes go, but he does still demand it. The Bat Open is just so damn versatile, and it's never really a weak start. So I think he'll be the most banned, but if he's not, he'll definitely be the most picked. So I'd say put him as one or the other, Lumi. But either way, LGD China, you mentioned Safe and Stable, the name of the game for TongFu. Well, talk about Safe and Stable. They'll pick up the anti-mage for Sylar. They'll also maybe deny that to Hao, and what is Hao going to play this game? I'm sort of curious to see.
Yeah, I think I've seen Hao play Alchemist. I'm not sure if I were remembering it incorrectly. No, that's Rising Stars pickup against TongFu. All these kind of Asian games have been starting to mixing together. Yeah, I do wonder what he's going to play, but we'll have to wait and see. I think Dragonite was one of those carry hero that he was playing, and we might actually see it because Dragonite in power plus Magnus, pretty nice kind of damage output in the early game, but it's going to be a silencer. So we're seeing more and more of a resurgence of this hero, and much to your disdain, it's going to be a support one.
Well, Chuan made it work last game, but I feel...
Well, Chuan was carrying with that
For me, that's more that IG make everything work, as opposed to the silencer really being a strong support pick. He can be, definitely, but I just don't feel he brings that much to the laning stage, and that's really where most of our Asian games are won nowadays. I mean, not just Asian games, Dota games in general, but I would say especially in the Eastern scene, there's so much emphasis on those early first few minutes in the lanes, from your movement, your warding game, and to finding those early kills. And Silencer, let's be honest, not the best killing support, not the most survivable or defensive support either. He's obviously great if you can get to level 6, and he's obviously fantastic at killing anti-mage once he has global silence. We saw that earlier today for sure. That ZetaSubJ just kept on getting picked off, so potentially that global silence could have the same impact here, and I do feel it gives them a nice additional way to deal with this anti-mage. But with that being said, you look at TongFu's lineup now, and not really that... well, they're decent in the laning stage, but I think more what I'm trying to say is very level dependent. Batrider, Mag, Silencer, they don't bring much to the team until they hit 6.
Yeah, but they're going to find 6 rather easily, I imagine, because...
That's true.
How are you going to shut down Magnus?
And LGD picks a Nyx and an anti-mage, which are not exactly the most aggressive.
Exactly. So, I mean, going back to the Silencer real fast, if you really think about Silencer as a support in shutting down anti-mage compared to other supports, what other support really give you one of the most reliable way to kill anti-mage? Shadow Demon, for example, doesn't do it. I guess Telekinesis Lift sort of does it, but he generally survived through that and blink away. But Silencer give you kind of like, for sure, we're killing AM. We're going to play our Skullbow, we're going to lead with a stun, a couple more right clicks, and he generally don't survive, especially when you have the pure damage output of Glaives, when you have a last word on top. It's a very reliable way to kill the anti-mage, and I mean, we've seen it twice so far as an anti-mage counter pick. You get, you know, kind of added benefit of team fight being won, or a great initiation tool in the late game. I don't think it's really that bad of a pick, even as a support. I guess that being won more and more, as we saw IG Chuan playing it earlier. TongFu won one of their games with the Silencer against Zenith in the AMD Premier League Grand Final. So we'll see how they're going to do here today.
Let's see how it pans out. I'm happy to eat my words if TongFu makes it work in this game. But, I mean, you look at what LGD have, and they have a lot of heroes that can also prey on that Silencer. Nyx Assassin, Anti-Mage. If they catch Silencer out, well, that's a delicious little snack for either of them. And it's going to be a puck. I was actually starting to wonder if maybe we'd see something like a support Rubik and a Solomon Nyx. But LGD, they'll go for the puck here. They'll send him most likely to the middle lane, and then I guess the question's going to be, what are they going to do for that off lane? There's no Darkseer available. I don't know what they could run as a jungler, but they don't really have...
Prophet.
Yeah, they can't really aggressive tri-lane. You look at this draft, and that sets your anti-mage up to be 1v1 versus a Batrider, and that's not a matchup you want to give him. So, has to be a defensive tri-lane, I feel, from LGD China, and that means puck mid, and then, like you said, something like a Nature's Prophet maybe as the jungler.
Well, speaking of aggressive tri-lane, there is going to be one featuring a Silencer and Visage. Or Visage. I think that's the wrong pronunciation.
I think it's Visage, I'm pretty sure. Okay,
well, Gods was giving me like multiple options of pronunciation, and Visage, he said, is not one of them.
Oh, well, let me give you another option. It's pronunciation, not pronunciation.
Okay, well, thank you.
While we're on the subject, how appropriate.
The two white Davids will correct the Asian David's pronunciation.
We're oppressing you, Lemmy.
What was it?
We're oppressing
pronunciation or what?
Pronunciation.
Pronunciation. All right.
We're oppressing you, Lemmy.
Okay, it's okay.
It's the Asian man's burden.
Let's not go there.
There's
too many years of slavery I had to deal with.
All right. Well, anyway, let's not get too on PC here on the cast. But LGD China looking for that last pick now, and imagine it's a support Nyx, support Leshrac. They need that jungler or that offlaner, but looking at what TongFu have, I feel like TongFu really wants to take this as an aggressive tri lane, and what's that carry going to be? There's no Gyro in the pool. There's no Juggernaut. I mean, these are some of the heroes I would look at and say maybe that's what they want, but what do you think? TongFu, it screams aggressive tri lane with Batrider safe lane and Magnus mid. What's your carry pick if you're TongFu?
10 seconds remaining.
I mean,
or is it even a farming Visage? Some other teams have run it lately.
5 seconds remaining.
always makes me think of Dignitas's the
TongFu's turn to pick.
AoE on the Visage or Visage. Goddamn, Visage.
Just call it the V-Bird.
The V-Bird. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna call it that from now on because you can't mispronounce that one. But in any case. Sankey is going to be the final pickup here, so is this some sort of offlane?
It's an offlane puck, it looks like. Solo mid Nyx, I imagine.
No, that's... You can't offlane a puck. No.
Against Bat, I agree. I don't think it's a good matchup for the puck, but what else are they going to do? You can't really leave Anti-Mage alone against Batrider, and I imagine TongFu would be quite happy to put Bat offlane Magmid to run a defensive tri-lane if LGD want to take the fight to them. So it could come down to mind games here I think for LGD, they definitely want to dodge this TongFu tri-lane. Or at least if they're going to fight it, be in the defensive position when they're up against
How about a 1v1 Nyx Assassin versus the Bat?
Oh my goodness.
What in the actual hell? So I take back everything I say about TongFu not being a splashy team that will surprise you with the picks. Because
Boom.
you just got a Spectre 5th pick from TongFu.
The reach of this team is actually insane. With the birds, the familiars to scout all over the map, global silence, global haunt from Spectre, then you have Blink, Flame Break from Batrider mid-game, Magnus with Blink Skewer. They can jump on you from around the world, basically.
What is the mindset behind this pick? That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out because...
Yeah, what are the lanes? This looks like a defensive tri-lane, a jungle bat, and a solo mid-mag.
Right, you have V-Bird, one of the best aggressive tri-lane hero.
There you go. I've saved
And then you have Spectre, which is not exactly a aggressive tri-lane machine.
10 seconds
So where do you actually go from here? And we kind of talked about how, Silencer is not exactly your best roaming ganker. Same thing with Visage. He's not that either. So
it's going to be that solo mid Leshrac. You thought maybe a farming Leshrac, Lumi. It's going to be one. Shao 8 going to be playing that, or maybe not solo mid, but definitely a farming Leshrac. He actually looks like he's going to take the tri lane. Sylar, are they really going to leave him bottom by himself? It looks like... What's going on here? LGD trying to figure out their lanes. While they do that, let's introduce the players. It's a Congo line down to the bottom lane for LGD China. This is a big game for them. They're getting ready for the International 2013 East qualifiers. Those start in about 36 to 40 hours. Shao 8 on the Leshrac, Sylar in the Anti-Mage, handling the Anti-Mage. No surprises there. Yao going to be playing the Puck. DD on the Sand King. Last but not least, DDC. The boys are back. The support brothers linked together at the hip. Going to be handling the Nyx.
I just want to say this is the 2011 international lineup for LGD. So like they got pretty much a big legacy and they got a ton of experience.
2012, but yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. And as soon as they brush off the rust, they should be able in theory to kind of just throw through everybody in the East qualifier. But that's here and there. But let's go to TongFu's lineup here. We're gonna have Hao. Sporting Spectre and some bad haircut, as LD put it. We have Banana playing the Silencer. We have Shanshan going to be on the V-Bird. Looks like Mu is going to be soloing mid with Magnus, and we're going to have King J on that offlane Batrider.
I think they were hoping that King J would start in the jungle. They're leaving Sylar alone. Actually, he's got a magic stick, so... Well, I haven't seen an anti-mage lane against a Batrider before. He is starting with a bit of pulled regen, but... I can't imagine this is going to go too well for Sylar. We'll see how it develops. I don't think he'll die, but he may struggle a bit in terms of farm. Anyway, Lumi, with that being said, you mentioned, well, LGD should be able to kind of roll their way through everyone, and you look at what this roster did at the International 2012, you have to agree on paper with what you said. They went undefeated all the way up until the winter bracket finals on the main stage where Na'Vi managed to pull a fast one on them and kind of rip the rug out from under them. And then they sort of self-destructed just compared to how they had done up to that point. But, I mean, they still did well, obviously, with a third-place finish, but it felt like they were rattled and never recovered. The question is, well, is this the same TongFu as that international? I would have to say, hell no. Not with KJ as well as Banana. With that being said, though, the lanes are now underway, and how do you feel about the matchups?
Yeah, it looks a little bit awkward. We saw Curse of the Silence here from Banana. Not a spell that I'm a big fan of. And level 1 Curse burned 70 mana for himself. He dropped onto 2 heroes. Those 2 heroes kind of like lulled and didn't cast anything, and Curse went away in like a second. So this is a spell that gets a lot better once you do level it up, but this is a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation. You're supposed to get your big nukes. You're supposed to get your last word, and well, so far nothing is really happening. And if you're Hao, you're happy about that.
By the way, Sylar is struggling quite a bit in terms of CS. This is a 7-1 Batrider already. Sylar not doing too hot, but the creep wave is
Mid
pushing.
lane.
Meanwhile,
Mid lane Moo, is he gonna give away first blood? He will give away first blood to Yao. I just kind of waxed poetic about how Moo is really good in mid lane, and Yao suddenly just grabs a first blood. Let's strike on the top lane.
Huge action. Burrow strike, or sorry, excuse me, Impale, and then Burrow catches 2 with both. That's 1 down. This might be more. Are they going to chase for Hao? No, they'll go Insane Chain. Is there an Impale? There is. Mana's there, just needs the range. There's no follow-up Burrow strike. Will they throw it out anyway? They need a body block. They're going to get it from DD. Insane Chain's still in the run. He's accruing quite a bit of Soul Assumption charges, but doesn't have the mana to send one out. DDC going to back off in the end. So they strike first mid, they get another kill top, and it's a pretty dangerous tri-lane. LGD have 3 AoE stuns. That is very hard for a Spectre to deal with.
Yeah, I have no clue what the Spectre is about. So far, it's not doing so well. And Yao back in the mid lane, going to take a ton of harass, move right back in his grill. But getting that first blood mid, as always, if you get a 1v1 mid first blood, it is such a swing on that matchup. And it's going to be tough here for Moo to make any type of comeback. Puck already have boots and bottle. And he could even go for some sort of a threat upgrade, which is going to give him a ton of mid-game superiority and allows him to gank all over the map, which is something I would expect. Or he could get a little bit greedy and go for the complete Blink Dagger rush.
I mean, to be honest, that really shouldn't happen where Magnus dies that early to Puck. Obviously, not to take anything away from Yao, but it seems like Moo maybe got a little cocky or overextended there. You should be able to just sit back and spam Shockwave on the waves, but Moo's actually going to man up now. Yao has secured that Invis room. Will pop it now, comes right back out, and for LGD, they're not getting farm on their anti-mage, but that's A-okay. If your tri-lane's going to dominate like this, it's totally worth the trade, and, well, nobody expected the Spectre as that final piece to the puzzle, and once that pick comes out, what looked like a very strong potential tri-lane for TongFu and an aggressive tri-lane, it got a lot weaker, and LGD's been able to punish it so far in the laning stage.
Well, we're going to see TongFu try to make some type of recovery by pulling this neutral camps, but Puck gets... What?
Again. Sorry I missed that one, guys. Yeah, with another kill. Should have caught it, but Moo dies yet again. Already 0-2 in the lane. We're only 4 minutes in. Boy, he's really struggling here, and this is trouble for them because you look at their draft, Magnus is the only hero who can really help them take the fights early, aside from that King J Batrider, and top lane, they're going to go in again. They catch out Sangshade. That's 2 stuns in a row. Now Sangshade on the run. He's going to drop. Will they get more? They're thinking about Banana. Too low in mana to go forward, but they're finding kills all over the place. LGD China just kind of running roughshod over TongFu, and the runes being controlled thoroughly by Yao. TongFu can't help this Magnus mid control them, which makes it even harder for him. And now Yao, he's level 6, so if he wants to join this tri-lane or potentially help Sylar out bottom lane, either he can do. He's level 6, and about 4 minutes in is when he hits it. That's ridiculous.
That is kind of insane if you kind of think about it. Now with this haste rate, I imagine Moo is actually going to go down one more time. Dream Coil is now available. Nice fuck. Did I say what I should have said? Nice Puck face shift. A little bit of Freudian slip myself there. I apologize. And again, I'm not sure what the Spectre Tri-lane is designed to do, but farming, I guess, is not really it because she's only got 18 CS.
Yeah, we'll pop that haster, and is he going to rotate? For the moment, I imagine he'll just look to push the creep wave in, prevent Moo from doing a whole lot. We'll manage to dodge a shockwave through the haste, not through the phase shift. And the good news is Sylar's not actually struggling that much. He got a set of cool tangos. He's not farming well, but he's getting levels. He's getting the basic items up, and it's not like Spectre's farming that well either. So all things considered, you gotta call this just a huge advantage for LGD China through the laning stage. I guess the good news is, Bat's having a powerful start. King J, if he keeps this up, should have a pretty fast Blink Dagger, and that means, I mean, not super fast by any means, but a decently fast, and that means he may be able to help salvage this tri-lane.
And he's going to have to set up some very key ganks, but I imagine you're not going to find too many successful ganks on anti-mage. Puck is almost ungankable, so really, you could only pick apart the tri-lanes.
Top lane, Edict burning away on the tower. Thought they were going to make a go on Banana, but they don't just yet.
Well, at the very least, they are forced out glyphs, so the next time they, for example, pick off a hero, they could really do a ton of damage, if not, you know, push down the tower altogether. So Spectre has that Portman Shield from early, has an early Magic Stick, which is a smart pickup against a kind of a spell-dependent trialing like this, an early boost of speed. They're looking to kind of stay alive and making sure that they could... This is one of the kind of lower killing trialing versus trialing, if you kind of look about it, despite, you know, the score being 4-1. 2 of those came on the mid lane, so it's not that bad for TongFu up top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the graphs, and it's actually not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Yao's gotten 2 kills mid and is level 8, yet, in spite of that fact, as well as the fact that Anti-Mage is getting levels, and LGD is dominating top in terms of kills, TongFu's keeping up with the pulls. They managed to hit level 3 on their silencer as well as their Visage, and Hao isn't dying. That's really the key. Sure, he's not farming a lot, but he's got 1 assist to his name. He hasn't died, and for Spectre, that's always the biggest thing. Stay alive, get your levels, because this hero does quite a bit. Sure, normally we're all used to seeing the Radiant Spectre, but nowadays you can go for things like phase drums. I know that's something AUI 2000 is a big fan of, even the early Diffusal Blade, and this hero packs quite a mid-game punch, especially with the buffs that have been made over the past few patches to Dispersion. Or
so right now,
Desolate, I mean.
We don't see too much action. I think it's a good time to kind of talk about Spectre's skill build, because maybe we're going to see a ping going on top lane here, Impale into a Splurf, and Burrow Strike not going to follow through.
He's worried about a teleport right now. Batrider's off the map, so he won't go in, and wisely so at that. More action, but no kills. Now they'll go in. Burrow Strike catches 2. They decide now's the time. Chaining up the stuns a little bit, but look at the AoE. Hal's going to man up. He does take a Mana Burn. He drops low. There's your Edict damage. Not dead yet, but he might go down. He'll get burrowed through again. Oh my goodness, this is Stun City. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Sylar's on the run. Lasso has been used, and King J, little surprised he didn't rotate to the tri-lane, because realistically, you're just not going to kill an anti-mage at full HP. He blows his Lasso. He gets nothing there. I kind of got to question that one. I think either you sit on the Lasso or you teleport top and try to make something happen there.
Also, the fact that he went for that kill without Flame Break, which is completely standard to have by this point. I'm not sure exactly what the mindset to not have Flame Break back in the top lane here. Looks like Moo's going to be surrounded from both sides. A Waning Rift should be really good. Nice Waning Rift. Orb is going to cancel through it, and I'm not sure RP was dropped. It wasn't. That's going to be a kill. Hunt also was used, or wasted, depending on how you look at it, and that didn't accomplish anything. 72 so far, and LG, Split up top, Burrow Strike should be able to follow through. There's no Burrow Strike necessary because Sanking wasn't there. They are going to get a return kill on Xiao. A Spectre, nice Spectral Dagger with the KS, but man, they got to stem the bleeding a little bit, at least in this early game, because they are losing a ton of kills.
The good news is the Blink Dagger's coming soon for King J. It's going to be looking like a 10-minute blink. It is a bit rushed. He's only got the boots and a bottle, but in spite of that, it's a really fast blink. And with this, I feel you have Haunt. Spectre can help you find kills whenever his ult's off cooldown. You can use Global Silence once you get it for the same sort of thing. Even RP, you can use it for solo kills. So LGD, they've had a really powerful start. Puck's off to a good start. They already have level 6 on their Nyx Assassin, and if they keep this rolling, they're going to be in great shape. But if TongFu puts some good lane wards down, maybe a sentry here or there when they can afford them, which I guess that's the issue, is they really can't. I think they could be in okay shape, but they're going to need some great anticipation over the next minute or so, and here comes DDC. Smoked up and Vendetta available.
Well, let's see if they can be utilizing Vendetta as kind of a initiation tool. Sentry Ward's going to get dropped to scout out possible other enemy sentries. He is going to Vendetta away and try perhaps at a backstab. I guess Banana is the easiest target to kill, because Shanshan does have that point into Gravekeeper Cloak. Will give him more magical resistance as well as armor. They're kind of closing in.
There's a Bat Blink, but he isn't here yet. He's going to buy it now. King J has to sell some branches to get that TP scroll. You have to realize that they're top at this point. There's been so many heroes off the map, they're going to use Edict to bring the tower down. Hao is still here. He's trying to defend this one. Are they going to bring in their Magnus? Moo has the TP. It looks like they want to contest. Where's that teleport from Batrider? He walks top. Now he heads back towards mid. Now he heads top again. And in comes the TP. And if you're LGD, you just back the hell up. That's a Bat with a Blink. He will jump in. Doesn't find Yao. Spectre ult deployed. That's going to blow him up immediately off the bat. Burrow Strike coming through. Catches 2. Sangchen trying to find what he can. Moo walking in, strutting in for an RP, skewers forward, doesn't have mana, pops the stick charges. Now he does. Now DDC on the run. It seems like despite losing the bat, TongFu's gaining the upper hand. DDC's isolated. Can they pick him off? He's going to be looking for a 2-hero stun. He'll only catch 1. He'll salve up through it. Moo looking for a shockwave. Cooling down. It looks like DDC is going to fall next. Can they bring him down? 1 more hit. Yes, they can. Now Banana. The trade is here. Yao going to find a return kill, but may pay with his own life. That's a big death. If he does, because he's farming his Blink, he's close. He won't die just yet, so when it's all said and done, call it a pretty even fight. I would say, if anything, I might even favor TongFu just because they're getting desperately needed experience, but it's not done yet.
Ooh.
Burrow through again. Epicenter for Hao. Gonna drop. Brought down fast now. Yao chasing for more. No extra spells. Can't bring down Sangche, but now a good fight for LGD China for sure, and they're gonna get a tier 1.
Yeah, I would have called that a beautiful fight for TongFu, but not how it ended. Spectre's going to go down, and a Glyph is going to come out as well. And I was saying, you know, RP not being used, and Magnus didn't die throughout that. That's kind of what you want from your Magnus. That didn't have the most beautiful start. He is going to get Arcane Boots. Generally, you see Magnus have Arcane Boots and maybe 1500 go around this point in the game. He just got it up, so he's very behind schedule. And throughout all of that team fight, him and that Sylar wasn't harassed at all. He was kind of getting free and illicit farm on the bot lane.
Right,
and
this is 4 Protect 1 and a kind of an unusual variant where it's a very aggressive movement around the map from the other 4, but that's creating space for Sylar. Got free farm, and the big news is Yao has a blink. 12 minutes in to have a big blink on your puck is just insanely fast. Getting first blood, he's 5-0-1. This is about as hard as you could possibly snowball on a puck, and he did it against the solo mid Magnus. Just basically outplaying Mu, who you mentioned has been playing great in his own right as of late, was dominating Zenith all day long. They 3-0'd them in the AMD Premier League, and it's completely the other direction this time. Yao's normally not that aggressive of a solo mid, at least not in my experience. He's much more of a slowly accumulate advantage kind of mid, but this is a snowball hard. Reminds you a bit of a player like Korok in terms of the way his game's developing. And now they're going to go on mid. The blink is here. Are they going to jump in and look for Mu? Not just yet, but the blink's available. Working away on the tower. Edict's cooling down. They could bring it low soon. Mu, if he tries to go in, there's just no way he's going to get an RP off, I feel. Maybe now? Ooh. Yeah, we'll blink
DDC?
away.
DDC on the back line here. Not Vendetta up. Vendetta's out. Global as well as Han comes in. They really want DDC and a Flaming Lasso. They bring him dead. I wonder if actually that's going to stop the push. So far, LG's not backing off just yet.
They're still in RP. That's the one thing that TongFu still have going their way. That was the first Global Silence finds a kill. Xiaowait's coming in. Confident to work on this tower, which is at 130 HP, exactly a 10%, and they're going to deny it right now.
Nice here. Puck not going to come in here for the kind of last-minute heroic. And yeah, pretty good defense here. A ton of big cooldown ultimates being used, but they got the kill. So really want to talk about Spectre's skill build before we kind of any more action comes up. Max Dagger first, which kind of traditionally is a skill build to go for, but lately we've seen Western teams, when they use Spectre, for example, Alliance, when they use it, you max Desolate +7. That's 65 pair damage, and in that earlier jungle fight when he was chasing the Nyx Assassin, that Nyx Assassin would have died in 2 hits if he had max Desolate. So just to show that Spectre, at least in the Chinese scene, not really catching up. If you look at how Spectral Dagger scales, it's one of the worst scaling spell in the entire game. Completely surprised to see him max, and maybe to show that they're not really knowing how this hero truly works.
Well, to be fair, you're not likely to be manning up against the tri-lane that LG.
I mean, as a free KS tool with Han, I still believe that you do plan to use that throughout the game. It just gives you more damage output.
I think just the way the tri-lane went, they didn't really want the Spectre to go in. So I definitely agree with you. You're not going to do nearly as much damage in the fights with this build, but it's kind of your safer build, and you can work heroes down from long range. You don't have to commit your hero to do extra damage. Frankly, you go in to Burrow Strike into Edict, you just melt. We've seen him melt this game repeatedly, but tabling that discussion for the moment. LGD looking to push bottom lane. They've almost got a Battle Fury in Sylar. He's very close if he gets this tower, or a kill will have it. DDC on the back line. Gonna find King J, spot him out, brings him low, and now Sylar not even needed to get that kill. That's a bad way to start the fight if you're TongFu. Yao jumps in, catches out Mu. Coil has already been dropped. Mu's caught. RP's gonna hairball. Completely whiffs that one. Great play by LGD to dodge it. Now DDC on the run. Yao too. Everybody backing off. Hao coming in. Can he find some kills? This is his time if he's going to. But nobody dropping yet. In fact, look at the damage. The physical and nuke damage this team can bring to bear. Sylar, man mode against Banana, just looking squishy right now. Sangche next in line. They will find a kill, but Yao is just cleaning up on the back lines. He finds Banana. Ultra kill for him. Absolutely out of his mind. Can we call it a rampage? He wants it. Give him the rampage, Sylar. He won't do it. Oh, man. This ain't looking good right now. There will be a last one. Yeah, this could end the streak in a big, big way. Nice chain stun for the familiars. Phase shifts. Can't get out. That's 700 gold in the bank of King J. Something he desperately needed. But
no! In the bank of the V-Bird.
Oh, excuse me.
Chaos with the birds himself. Literally are doing some big stunning and then interact. Like, I'm sure he will get his arcane boots after that at the very least. So, hey, it's not bad.
Here's the problem. Sylar has a 16-minute Battle Fury, and he laned against a Batrider solo. That's not why you run the Batrider in that bottom lane.
No, this puck is completely snowballing out of control. I've never really seen a kind of this hard of a snowball when two Chinese teams go against each other, because they're really good at kind of stem the bleeding. They're really good at kind of shutting down that one person that goes from afar. And this is really kind of being a big problem. Your Magnus doesn't have the Blink Dagger, and you can see that how he's easily being shut down. That RP was embarrassing in that bot lane. Blink Raining Rift, as well as kind of a couple of puck spells baiting him out early.
There's not much he can do against a puck with a Blink Dagger. Sure, it looked really bad, but how are you going to actually find a good RP when there's so many stuns on LGD? There's the Blink Silence, and there's Coil. There's just so many ways to disrupt that combo. I think it looked really bad. I don't think he could have hit a good one unless LGD completely failed the fight, to be totally honest. And the other reason is, well, there's Batrider can go in first, but he died at the beginning of that fight, so it had to be the Mag who started. As a result, he's not equipped to do it. Until he gets his Blink, it's gotta be King J who starts the fights, and getting caught out by that Nyx assassin really prevented him from doing so. So now we look at a 6,000 gold lead for LGD China, a 4,000, almost 5,000 experience lead for them, and they're gonna get free farm all over the map for Sylar. And Libby, here's my question. How do you gank Sylar right now? Because I don't see the Spectre out farming him, going phase, drums, and now Diffusal Blade.
Well, they wanted to use a smoke. Unfortunately, they ran past the Sentry Ward and the Creep Wave started attacking them, so that is out of plan as well. The rest of the team is still smoked up. I don't think actually the Radiant knows, so if you get a Blink Lasso, if you get a Blink Lasso and a Global, so that's how you get the gank. And look at that
they've stacked the Lasso with the Global. Not really the best coordination, but they're still gonna be chased. Flame Break, nicely placed. Sylar is gonna drop in spite of it. Now in comes Moo. Epicenter available. RP will be there, but the FP comes off. Everybody from TongFu runs into it. Takes a lot of damage. Not dead yet. Coil's gonna connect. Catches out everyone. The backstab is here. The Backstreet Boys are here as well. King J to fall. That's 3 dead, including your Spectre, just for an anti-mage and a Sand King. Doesn't feel like it's worth it. Global was thrown out as well. And the Lasso, everything to get those kills. Sure, you get the anti-mage, but he's still going to win in terms of trades, because he is going to farm a lot faster than this Spectre.
Yeah, TongFu has a complete right mindset in terms of how to make the comeback. It's just that they're very, very unlucky, because the heroes that they have lost multiple times is the Spectre. Spectre, one of the more unique carries out there that don't need too much farm early on to contribute to fight, and as well as chaos in those fights. Again, correct mindset to kind of hunt in, get a couple of freebies, especially when you have Global and Magnus RP backup. You expect to kind of win the team fight somewhat lopsidedly, but the kind of the monkey wrench in the plan is there's this damn fat puck. He's just really everywhere, like doing a ton of damage. He's kind of ultimate orb. It's working towards a Scythe device. If he gets a Scythe like 30 minutes in, I don't know, man.
This is just gonna ruin Moo. Moo is gonna have a Blink soon, but a puck who has a Scythe device, I mean, again, it's another way to say good luck getting that RP off. It's already hard with the Blink Silence. It gets so much harder. Moo's gonna need a BKB this game, Lumi, to have any kind of reliable chance at getting off a good reverse polarity. And truth be told, where's he gonna find the farm? It's already hard enough for How to find farm, let alone the rest of the team. TongFu, despite only having lost their 3 tier 1s, they are so much more constricted than that, because they're up against a Nyx assassin, they're up against a Blink puck, and they're up against a great ganking lineup for LGD, plus anti-mage for Sylar, always pushing the lanes. And so it's worse than it looks in terms of the tower score, and I'm not sure if TongFu can actually resurrect this game, but it comes down to those big team fights. They have a lineup that can just roll a team fight if they get the right initiation. It's very difficult, but if they can do it, they still have a shot. But getting it is going to be tough.
Yeah, you talked about how they're going to get a little bit of kind of extra gold. They're going to get it in terms of this kind of tower trade. Tier 1 tower is very low, so they will bring it down quite easily. And even though you're trading a Tier 1 for Tier 2, I think TongFu wouldn't mind it too much, because they need every bit of extra gold. And they found it, especially with How last hitting that one.
Yeah, LGD is going to look to break the base here. Blink Dagger was just picked up a move. This could catch LGD by surprise. Also, it's King J lurking on the high ground as his Batrider. Right now, LGD feels a bit scattered and discombobulated in terms of their positioning, but they are going to wisely back off. Sylar is going to go back to pushing, and this is where, if you're LGD, you buy a gem, because you have the massive tower gold advantage. You can afford a gem. TongFu can barely afford sentry wards right now. Look at Banana just sitting on 2 gauntlets of strength, a magic wand, and boots of speed. So getting a gem, such a great choice, I feel, especially when you have this kind of mobile ganking lineup. Haven't done it yet, would like to see it soon, but in the meantime, it'll just be safe and steady farm. I feel this is where you go to Starvation Dota. You get your anti-mage his multiple next set of items, and a Spectre during that time maybe farms a Diffusal Blade, but while that's happening, you're going to see a Manta style and probably a Vitality Booster on Sylar. And then you go one item further, and I think that's where Sylar can really control the game for his team. So if I'm LGD, I play this slow and safe.
Well, although I agree with the gem being a really good item to have, but who's actually going to successfully carry this gem? Nobody actually will survive. If TongFu wants you dead, they will have you dead. A global and a blink lasso, that means a free gem for TongFu. So I completely agree with the safe and farm, but gem might be a little bit kind of ballsy.
Yeah, I guess Yao has died this game. I was going to say Yao, duh, but he did get picked off for that last fight. Granted, I felt he overextended. Probably would play more carefully with the gem, but here comes TongFu. They're going to work on the tower. They want Sylar to come to the fights and stop farming. They also just want some tower gold, because, man, do they need it. Hal throws in a dagger, drives DDC back, works on the tower a bit, now backs off. The Familiars come in with stun on both of them. King J is going to drive everyone back, but look at what's happening bottom lane. There's a push right now. They'll get the tier 1. Now they got to back and defend. Can they actually punish Sylar? I don't think there's anyone in position to do it, and LGD are going to go right back in. It looks like DDC under cover and Vendetta, but he'll get caught by a blink lasso. Beautifully done. The global deployed as well. LGD on the run. DDC still alive, but they'll bring him down fast. RP catches 2. Skewer him back, pile him in, and then look to clean him up. Epicenter is being channeled. Oh god, this is bad for TongFu. It catches everyone. Monovoid as well, and here comes your cleanup crew. A hasted anti-mate. Sylar was out for blood. He's out for kills. He's going to find Banana for sure. Moo may die as well on the other side of play. Banana, just no way he gets out, even with this Familiar. Don't see it happening. No TP for him. Down he'll go. Now it's Moo on the run. Yao on the chase. The blink is there. The orb is there. Can Moo juke this? He's got to find an escape path. He hasn't found it yet. Skewer cools down. I think he's going to pull it off. Maybe. Maybe not. He's spotted at the shop now. He'll skewer into the trees. Yao gives chase. Can he bring him down fast? Where's that silence? Deploys it and snags the kill. When it's all said and done, that Sylar basically finishing his Manta style at 23 minutes. And again, soloed against the Bat Rider.
Oh man, it was such a beautifully kind of orchestrated team fight. It just, the sad thing is that there is a level 8, level 9 Sand King that was tanky enough, thank god to his double bracer build, was able to survive long enough to drop off an epicenter combo, because the 2-man RP at the global was very, very nice. And skewer backwards. They were supposed to kind of blow up Leshrac and Sand King, walk back with their merry ways, kind of up 3 or 4 kills. Suddenly, Epicenter comes out, and everybody's half HP, and it's just a field day with Anti-Mage Blink as well as Puck Blink. And that's, again, they have the correct mindset. They have Global, they have Magnus RP, and with the Blink, they should be able to win these team fights. Just the early game deficits means another death on Hal, as well as everybody else on the team.
I just really like the way that TongFu played that. I'm going to completely agree with you and say, sure, that looked great for LGD in the end, but I feel that's exactly what TongFu wants. It's just they're too far behind in terms of items. If they, even if the same, at the same time though, you got to give DD a lot of credit because he patiently waited for that epicenter. He didn't try and force it. He waits through the global. He comes in with Burrow Strike after RP's down, after Lasso's already been used. There was just nothing left to cancel that, and credit him for great play, but if you're TongFu, that's the fight you want. I think that's a fight, if you have one more item, you take that fight and you do it convincingly. Even if Halsey has his Diffusal Blade complete, it probably goes a lot smoother. Still, Lumi, it's not looking too good for them right now. They're now down by 10k gold, 12k experience, and although Spectre can definitely take a hero like Anti-Mage late game in terms of just raw contributions to a direct team fight, he's not going to win in the split pushing war. He doesn't have the items to take him in this game, and Sylar gets the Manta style. Now he looks towards the heart or the butterfly. I mean, maybe it's... I'm not sure what you go for this game. I'll let you talk about that, but whatever he goes for, he's going to have it.
You mean Sylar or
yeah,
Hal?
Sylar.
Yeah, Sylar most likely is going to go for the extreme standard, but it looks like we're going to have a massive array of teleportation on the top lane. It's going to be on the run for the rest of the team. If somebody gets caught, let them get caught, or maybe they're going to stay their ground. They have global, and it looks like they're going to initiate one more time. It is going to be global. They're going to focus on Xiao 8 this time. RP trying to get used. I'm not sure whether he casts a ton of... Well, they're going to get one more kill, but look at Sylar. It's just doing a ton of deeps. in these middle team fight, but hey.
At the same time, they only lose one, they get two.
Yeah.
They did blow the global, they blew a lot for that. The haunt as well, but they get the kills. Now they back off. Like you said, though, bad news is Sylar is just farming away this whole time. He'll go mid, he'll continue farming there, but it's the potential for TongFu. With a well-timed global silence, this is where LGD need BKBs of their own. This is where you want your Puck to have a BKB, or even something like a Yule Scepter to purge off that silence. He's gonna need something to deal with it. I think it's key, especially for the Puck, but ideally for some of these other heroes. Maybe Sylar's even got to go for one. We'll see. He does have the Manta style, but...
Sylar is going to go for one, or he should. You can see that Leshrac already has an Ogre Club and a mech. He is going to be going for one as well. BKB is the answer against Global Silence, because you could BKB out of it.
Yeah, let's see if Sylar makes the same choice. He could also try to tank up with a Heart of Tarask and be that frontline presence, because LGD is starting to feel like they lack that hero to jump in first. TongFu's got it in spades between the Familiars, the Spectre Haunt, or just the Spectre hero. They're going to smoke right now. And
they will find one now, because Yao has a 26-minute Scythe of Ice, Blink. He hasn't skipped anything, hasn't rushed anything. Just off good place, and now they're going to be ganking with a Scythe.
It's all up to the Global Silence. If they can get it off when it's up, then maybe RP comes out. But, I mean, now with the Scythe device for Yao, it gets a bit more tricky to find the opening. Let's see if they're going to catch out Sangchain. This is that first unveiling of a huge item. Like you mentioned, they're going to rotate towards mid for the time being. LGD currently leading by about 10k gold, so it's stabilized for TongFu. They're down. I don't feel they're out just because of the strength of their composition. And something we talked about a lot in the last series is heroes that make it hard to break the base. TongFu have a lot. RP, Global Silence, and Batrider, everything that Batrider has. These are a set of skills that you don't want to go and try to break this base lightly. You do it only when you're confident, when you have an Aegis, when you have those big items for Sylar, which he doesn't have yet. So I wouldn't count TongFu out, but they are definitely playing from behind, and it's definitely still going to be an uphill battle for them.
I feel that TongFu isn't really too afraid to take this into an ultra late game, and that might sound a little bit crazy against the anti-mage, but if you look at the late game implication of TongFu, they're not that bad. I mean, Global's always going to be nice, Empower's going to be granting half your team some big deeps. How, of course, on Spectre, you know, one of the more premier late game heroes. And yeah, Batrider is always generally a great utility late game hero in terms of initiation. So I feel that TongFu, in terms of hero potential, they can go late. And I mean, as long as you don't really lose any big Braxes or lose any big Roshan fights, they should be okay. 10k gold deficit is not a deficit that is unsurmountable. So if TongFu wants to go farm, that's an option. That's a very valid option.
I think for them, it's what we've seen so far, which is use your global, use your lasso, use your RPs to find a couple of smaller scale engagements, get a few kills.
And then go farm.
Yeah, and go farm off of that. Wait for them to cool down, control the map. And if you want to take it late, at some point, Sylar's inventory starts to become a limited resource. And truth be told, for a long time, Sylar will be the strongest hero on the map, but if Spectre's able to equalize, Spectre also has Empower on his side, so his house going to be hitting a bit harder. And in a team fight, a Spectre with Haunt can do more overall damage than an anti-mage, unless you had a huge Mana Void. So I agree. I think TongFu could take it late. It's going to be tough. They're going to smoke with 4, and they're going to run right behind Hao. It looks like hoping that LGD will go on to him, and if you're LGD, well, there's 4 heroes off the map, and you see quite a bit. So, in fact, wow, look at the map awareness from Xiao8. Hey guys, I guess they're all right in the exact area where they just were.
Yeah, and that's exactly where they were. So, of course, Hao doesn't need to join these kind of smoke gank parties. Consider he has Haunt, he's always there. And in fact, they're using him to bait a little bit. Maybe Firefly to check the Ancient Camp, because exactly that's what Sylar is at.
He's got his Force Staff now. This is a good item for TongFu, to find those pickoffs and then just back off. Moo's lurking. It probably should be KJ who goes in first. The smoke will be dispelled. They're in the jungle now. They're going to start hitting creeps. Moo lurking. Firefly deployed. Sylar trapped in the trees. Blink in. Lasso catches Xiao8. No BKB yet. Remember, he's also got the mech. The global comes out. Moo is sight. Can't get off an RP. Where's the RP? I don't even think he got it off in the end. He ended up getting Mana Burn, I believe, and didn't get it off. At the center channeled by DD on the back lines. Hao is low. Hao on the run. Everybody kind of backing off here. 2 heroes hit the deck for LGD, and that's without the RP. DDC mans up into the Familiars, into a whole lot of damage. The Flame Ray cools down. DDC is going to drop. Now Sylar potentially as well. Blinks away, really forcing this fight. King J's out for blood. Earn charges
Ooh,
here.
Sylar.
Oh,
Sylar's low.
He may
160. Die. Yeah, he's going to be fine. He has a heart.
Yeah.
I guess he picked up the heart in the middle of that team fight with a curry delivery, but again, look at TongFu.
That was without
RP.
That's without RP.
Yeah, it was like again, the utility of TongFu Hero is just so good. Let's not forget about Grave Chill, lowering the attack speed for anti-mage. That's a big deal for him. And of course, Silencer doing pure damage output. The Silence repeatedly. They were able to drive Puck away by using a Diffusal Blade Charge or two from Spectre. That wasn't TongFu's true strength in terms of a team fight, but when you get a favorable jump, when you get off that Global and a Flaming Lasso, which they have gotten off every single time, these team fights are not that hard. You talked about Anti-Mage being the strongest hero on LGD, but what do they have after that? A Leshrac? I mean, he's a fine semi-carry, but I really don't think he go toe-to-toe with Spectre, Mag, you know.
I fully agree. I just want to bring up one point, which is for LGD China, it's not the fight where the global and the RP is used. It's the fight after that. When those are down, that's the scary moment for TongFu. That's where they got to sit back, and that's where LGD is going to do exactly what they're doing now, which is take the fight to TongFu, say, you don't have global, you can't really deal with us right now, we're going to force the issue, you're not going to like it, we're going to take a tier 2 off of this, and I think it's the perfect way to play it. There is still RP, but they need the global to really deal with LGD, and it looks like they won't try to go now. They'll try and slow down the push, they won't be able to stop it, the tower will fall at LGD. The one thing I'll say is I really would have liked to see that gem from them. I don't feel they have enough map control right now. TongFu are able to farm their own jungle. They're able to set up smokes without being spotted too frequently. And I just don't feel, considering the start LGD had, I think their map control should have been better than it is. And I think not having a gem is a big reason why they're struggling in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, they had a Puck that was dominating all of the map. Maybe, again, they're respecting the Lasso and Global and a way to kind of kill the gem very quickly. But I completely agree with you. They were, I mean, again, they were leading by 10,000 gold. It should have been somewhat of an easy victory, but you gotta keep in mind that a ton of that gold is in Sylar. So the rest of the team comparatively isn't as farmed as, or isn't that much more farmed than TongFu. So maybe that's another reason why the rest of the team isn't doing particularly as well.
You know, you mentioned net worth. I'm scared for TongFu, or for LGD. When I look at Sylar and I see he's got 19,000 net worth, and they just lost the last team fight and almost lost him, that's scary. Imagine if Spectre has one more item. Imagine if it's only a 4 or 5k gold deficit, which it might be if they win another fight. Then it's very, very hard to see, frankly, LGD winning a fight if TongFu get an okay initiation off. And with Global and a Batrider, you should be able to get that initiation off. So, yeah, I mean, when you look at the net worth, it is concentrated in Sylar, and how much does that gold really mean? It doesn't feel like a lot, and it's just hard to find the right fights when you're up against Batrider with a blink and a force. King J is making his presence felt, and they're going to smoke and head towards mid. Sylar, oh boy, if he fights for this whole creep wave, he may die. TongFu thinking about going in, maybe expecting heroes to be behind him and afraid to do it. Now they'll go bottom instead. Well,
there is a pretty decent creep wave on bot. Both these guys drawing a ton of arrows on the map, making sure they get some nice gank path going on.
Let's go that way. No, let's go this way.
There is a gem on Nyx Assassin, so that's something worth pointing out. But team fight is breaking out right about now. Yao's gonna get the jump again. Global to follow through. They pick up Plug instantly, and that's it. That's gonna be all of your initiation. DDC's gonna come back around. There is. Oh.
They're not done yet. They're gonna continue giving chase, I think, onto Xiaowei. Grave Chill not actually being used. I felt they could have gone for more. They don't have Lasso, they don't have Global. Maybe worried about buybacks here. They'll take it safe. They'll work on the tower, Lumi, but they get the jump, they win the fight. The Puck is the key team fight hero for LGD, and with no BKB, with no Yule Scepter or Force Staff or any sort of reliable defensive item, the Blink Lasso is there, and you just die. Great play by TongFu, and for LGD, caught unawares again.
I'm just judging how this game is going, as well as how the IG game went. I'm pretty sold that Silencer is kind of the next big thing. The way that these teams are playing it in a very slow, methodical, using that Silencer, whether it's for a single gank, like the way that Victus Gaming was using it, or just using it as a big team fight mechanism, a little bit more traditional standard way to use it. You pick off, I guess it's a little bit easier to prey upon LGD because they have that one key hero, the one big X factor in terms of initiation power, and he doesn't have a BKB yet. But you just pick off Puck, and suddenly LGD isn't LGD. A ton of their kills, a ton of their items is in that Puck, and when you're silenced, when you're lassoed, when you can't get off your coil and the scythe, you know?
He started this, I just want to point out, Yao started this game like 10-0 and 8. And
Young Godlike, yeah.
And now he's 11-2 and 9. It's not that he's playing bad now, but he's really gotten quiet all of a sudden. And I think it's less that Yao's making mistakes and more so that TongFu could just punish him. And it's It's the global. They're using it very effectively. I mean, this is where support silencer is very scary. If you can use the global the right way and have the right fight. So many times when I've cast the support silencer, they waste global needlessly when they're about to die. They blow it just to escape or to win a team fight that can't be won. Banana is using it to find a pick and then to fight snowballs their way from there. So when you use it like this is a very fearsome support. I'm very impressed, and to some extent, I'm happy to say I'm eating my words.
Well, DDC's going to try to D-ward a little bit with the gem, but here comes the entire team. I'm not sure whether that was... they will follow that black ink on the ground, but they will not chase him through. Again, you know, Silencer is a good hero, but I think TongFu's playing beautifully because they're utilizing the strength of their lineup, which is whenever the ults are down, go back, play defensive, farm. You know, bait Hao, for example, have the rest of the team backing him up. And whenever it's up, they're looking to play very, very aggressive. This team is also very good at chasing with a Blink Dagger and Bat, with a Blink Mag, with, you know, a Grave Chill, as well as a couple of Purge Charge being used. So once you get that one single target pickoff, you could snowball, like you said, and pick off more and more targets. So it's okay for them to use Global for a single solo kill because it almost guarantees you another kill or two. And that's exactly how these team fights are going. So it was a 10,000 goal lead earlier. It's still around 10,000 goal lead now, but do you kind of feel that LG is not really having as firm of a grip as they were before?
Game seems to be slipping away for them as the godfather of Chinese Dota, Hipovic, manages to pause and resume the game immediately, which I thought was pretty funny. And not a peep was spoken, but it does feel like the game's slipping away from them, and it ain't gonna help that there's now a pipe up on Sanction. You look at LGD, you really examine their lineup. It's all magical damage, and then it's anti-mage, and a lot of his damage is magic with the Mana Burn, so this is a huge item. And on a support Visage, I actually am shocked that he's managed to farm it. Visage is not a great farmer by any means, but just through not dying this game and finding a lot of kills and assists, Sanction has quietly farmed some
10-5-7.
Yeah, some huge items despite not having much CS. I'm getting very worried for LGD. If they lose another big fight, Hal's gonna have his next item, and that's the point where Spectre uses his ult and 2 or 3 heroes just flat out die during the ultimate.
So Lesh is going to find his BKB, which is going to be a big part in terms of any type of counter offense. If he gets off a BKB after a global was used and could get off a 2 or 3 man spliff, that's exactly what his team needs to disrupt this kind of oppressive initiation. But with that said, if you look at Mu, he's really close to his own BKB, and that's kind of like the one-up to your BKB. So it's going to be still tough. They need to find a pick or two, and that's exactly what they need to do. Or that's what they're doing right now.
And here
they need to get the jump on, and let's see if they can find one.
Oh, they're gonna run right into TongFu. TongFu with gem, but it's on Banana, who wasn't quite envisioned. It looks like that's a beautiful 3-hero fail. Talk about a start to a team fight. Going the way of LGD. Buybacks will fly out from TongFu. Moves the first one to buyback. Sanction caught in position, trapped out. Will be dropping real quick. The double buyback RP's here. It only catches Sylar. Where's the follow-up right now? There's none in sight. Hal's gonna try and man up on him. Can they bring him down? They will with the last one. They've used a lot of buybacks. They gotta kill him. Can they finish the job? They will. Now DD's on the run. There's 2 heroes dead right now for LGD. 2 died for TongFu and bought back, and 1 is currently dead. DD on the run as well. When it's all said and done, he's going to drop. I believe he's barely even taking damage from these familiars, shockingly, but I think in the end the familiars will bring him down. Meanwhile, it looks like Banana's picked up an additional kill. Still DD chugs on. He'll pop yet another urn charge. That's canceled quickly. Man, these familiars just suck at doing damage right now. Oh my goodness, they're fully run out of those initial charges, barely even scratching him. DD's gonna live, it looks like.
Are they really still chasing him? They're not gonna get that kill. What the hell are these first things?
His passive regen is greater than what the damage they're doing.
Oh my god. Alright, they got the memo that they weren't gonna get the kill, so they back off. You know, you were talking about, you know, the Sylar was big fat and they lose a team fight and they get scared. I think this is really the truly scary moment as Banana's off to... this is not what you do. This is not what you do, Banana, even if you win a team fight. Oh, but if you get a King J backup, maybe this is exactly what you do. DDC pops off some spikes, but those birds are here, and this time they'll be stunned instead of hitting for 10.
Beautiful.
So they do get the kill. Nicely done.
And this is real bad for LGD. They're giving up a real...
Yeah.
Sure, TongFu uses 2 buybacks. That's completely fine. Hao is getting fat as all hell. He's got a Mansa style up now. He was not forced to buy back. He's all of a sudden 4, 5, and 20. And that's the one thing that's always scary about Spectre. this hero can rack up assists better than any other carry in the game, which means extra gold for him, which means potentially extra levels if he's actually there in the fights with this hero. It's scary to deal with Lumi, and now, with an Aegis to his name, he can die once he has buyback, haunt in, and suddenly have a huge impact in the fight twice. Not to mention, by the way, he's really hard to kill when you factor in dispersion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be as kind of insane if you don't have the Radiance, which to add kind of residual damage throughout the fight, but still, I mean, he's going to stick on your support like white on rice, and it's going to be really, really annoying for them to deal with, and there's a ton of damage output with Empower, so still a very big threatening force in this game. I gotta say, though, kind of the scary moment is that you got the jump, you got the favorable initiation, you got your puck, he was able to use everything for once, and you still lose your team fight. Granted, thanks to the really good buyback from TongFu, but more credit to TongFu, you know, they're ahead, or well, sort of, they're quote-unquote air quote ahead, and previous to that team fight, they were still saving buyback, still playing safe, they were close enough for the buyback to actually pay off, and again, the team fights are now going to TongFu. Go check, still 10,000, but I think TongFu is more and more ahead. This gotta be one of the closest 10,000 lead game ever, I want to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're more and more ahead, but LGD is definitely less and less ahead right now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
soon, TongFu will be ahead. And also keep in mind, every item that Hao gets actually means a lot more, because he has Empower on his side, and that can make a big difference, especially for a Phase, Drums, Manta Spectre. This, as well as having a Diffusal Blade, Hao can auto-attack constantly, all fight long. Sometimes Spectre struggles with, depending on the build you go for. He's got decent chase with just Phase as well as Dagger, but when you throw in a Yasha as well as a Diffusal Blade and a Drums, you're constantly auto-attacking. Nobody is running from you. Even Anti-Mage can't reliably run from that amount of slow and that amount of chasing power. So, I think TongFu's in good shape. They haven't won this game yet, but they have now really the comfort to sit back and farm, go towards the Heart of Terras for Hao, or get the buyback online. And then they can just pick and choose when they take their fights. And if you're LGD Lumi, how in God's name are you going to break the base now? With the buybacks cooling down, with a Bat Rider always to worry about, with Blink Force, with RP as a concern, with the Global there to really screw them over, and with only one BKB to deal with that Global, I just don't think LGD have the correct items or the advantage they need to go high ground. And if they don't go high ground now, can they do it later? That's the question. And I'm not sure they can.
I mean, normally I would say here, if right now the way that the game is not working out for you, you go for a late game yourself, LGD. You have an anti-mage that still has some slots to be left to be filled. He has one slot left. I guess you could swap out that Treads for a Breach of Travel as well. Your Leshrac could get pretty big. If you get Scythe up, your Pug could still get a BKB and be effective. Heck, even your Sand King could get a BKB. But it's very easy for TongFu to break high ground. If they want to initiate, they can. And that seems like exactly what they want to do right now. Slowly siege down tier 2 and start looking for high ground. Or no, maybe they're going to wait out for buybacks, make sure that those are ready, and then they're going to do it. I guess time... LGD could actually go late themselves, so they could pick up a couple of Scythe. They have 4 very valid Scythe carrier, as long as they have go, and so far they're not getting it. I'm actually starting to say that maybe Sylar shouldn't really farm as much as he's farming. You give gold to the ally. This might sound like completely crazy, but
maybe in 10-15 minutes. He needs buyback. You want to complete your inventory.
Yeah.
If it goes another 10-15, then yeah, I'd start to agree with you. Sylar should farm for buyback and give the farm to his teammates. But we're not quite there yet, and as far as getting more than one site device, that's still a long way off. Xiao has an ultimate orb, but needs to save for buyback as well. Sandcade's not farming one. Not this game. Not unless it goes for 70, 80 minutes. DDC isn't farming one either. In theory, they have 4 heroes that can build a site device. In practice, I'd say maybe one of them will actually have the gold to build it. So, I still feel it's TongFu in the comfort zone right now. They can sit back. I think the pressure is really on LGD, and what's my biggest problem for LGD, that I feel their only real damage dealer is that anti-mage. Sure, you've got a lot of magic damage, but there's a pipe and a mech on TongFu. They're also getting the jump every fight. There's a BKB on Magnus. Spectre's got 2 lives and soon a heart. In fact, now a heart. So basically doesn't care about the magic damage. And trying to kill the Spectre, this is where you try to kill Spectre, you just lose all your supports doing it. With no BKBs, they're going to take so much extra damage from Dispersion. TongFu smoked up, looking for a kill. Not going to find one yet, but I like the way they're playing this. Just using their smokes very discreetly and only when they feel they have what they need to take the fight. So right now, I think they have exactly what they need.
I mean, this is where Sylar could kind of single-handedly take over the game in terms of split push. He's going to TP back to base, but he's applying a ton of pressure by pushing the Creep Equilibrium across on multiple lanes. And I got to ask your opinion on this build. Now, obviously, we didn't know the game was going to go somewhat of a, well, we'll talk about that later, as both teams getting somewhat close to each other.
DDC is going to be scouted up by the familiars. Actually, it's Sangshane, the first one to fall, and undercover and Vendetta, he'll try to start the fight, but out comes the pipe, and I have no idea what's going on with no sound effects. RP catches a few, not looking good for LGD. They lose their Sandkid off the bat. They're about to lose Xiaowei. They're just all melting. It's all up to Sylar. Can he win this man fight all by himself, all by his lonesome? He brings down a few. Now he's got to deal with Hao. Remember, Hao's got the Aegis. He's dropping low. Sylar is too. He'll kill off the Puck simply with a few auto attacks. Triple kill for Hao while he's busy dying. He'll come back now. Is he gonna try and chase Sylar? It looks like he might. Dagger comes in. The chase goes on. The Dagger will follow you. Purges here. Might be enough. Sylar's gonna try and blink away. They need one more hero to bring him down, and they can't get anyone else in range. He will live. They do get rid of the Aegis. A decent fight for LGD, but they lose 3 to do it. Hao doesn't die, and now Hao is up to another
4.
2K gold.
Leshrac died as well, and he bought back.
Oh, excuse me, 4.
Well, the courier takes the gem, and that's on some next level path, trying to make it back to the base right now. Or is that his dire? I guess that's Sire's.
Run, Smeevil, run! It's actually gonna head all the way towards the bottom lane, and it will look to make a finds a quick wave. That's not good. Smeevil dropping low. Smeevil dropping real low. It will make it out. A deep sea diving mission of sorts, and they get the gem back. It's a small victory for LGD, but it's a sea of big problems for them losing that fight.
So the point that I was the question I was wanting to ask you before that team fight broke out is, obviously Heart, Butterfly, kind of the best way to spend your gold if you're gonna go late game anti-mage, but kind of back to the time where you asked me, alright, anti-mage has this Manta Sao, he has his Battle Fairy, he's been farming well, and that's the time of the game where they were actually sort of still winning, right? They were holding to the 10,000 gold lead, they were doing fine, the team fights hasn't really started. At that point, would it have been better just to straight up went BKB into Basher? Because I felt like that item set will allow you to survive the team fight, do a ton more, be a lot more useful in a team fight, other than a big punching bag with that Heart, and pick off a couple heroes and kind of take the fight to TongFu. Or do you kind of still feel that this was the best possible item set? The Heart into Butterfly.
I mean, maybe. I guess I could see the BKB being more effective, but there's so many ways to deal with it. I mean, you look at Lasso, you have your RP, and sure, he's not taking a lot of damage, but he's also not doing anything for a very long time. Not to mention, if you Manta and then get global, you're just going to be sitting there silent. So, and especially if you've already used your BKB.
Well, you could BKB out of the silence. It depends on when he pops the BKB. This is huge right now. There is a double damage on Sylar. There's illusions on the Sylar, which he needs to micro them and push them away. If they can find a pick and win a team fight right now,
this could be it. Hao's going to get caught out mid. They'll start off with a Scythe. Now the Abyssal comes in, but the RP catches 3. Oh my goodness, that's not a good way to start this fight. If you're LGD, Yao's on the run, dropping past Sylar, trying to man up, but Lasso unable to do a whole lot. Now on the run, TongFu are going to give chase. Xiaowei will fall. Yao will buy back, but what can he do? Sylar wants to go back in. He's still got the DD. He's got a Manta. He's got his Abyssal Blade ready to go. Never even popped it. He can't fight. This is just one of those games where anti-mage can be fat as all. Maybe, never mind. He'll jump in now. He'll find Yao. What an initiation. The buyback from Yao. Turning it around. Beautiful timing and patience from LGD. Wow, that buyback really turning the tides of this fight. Still, they have to
die here. Yao can't die here. He doesn't have buyback. He just used it. He's going to be silenced. He gets picked off a second time. There is a Spectre coming your way, knocking on your Rax's doors. And there is anti-mage, farm as hell. He's got 3k. Is that buyback gold? Yeah. Yes, it is buyback gold.
This is where you may have to throw your life away just to defend the base. And if you win a big fight somehow, Hao doesn't have buyback. So maybe then you could turn the tides. But there's so much lockdown on TongFu, it's going to be very hard for Sylar to deal with.
Well, there is no RP. There is no there is a Lasso. There's actually not much lockdown aside from familiars, if you want to count those in. So if he kind of comes in from a perfect angle, in fact, they don't want to push. TongFu doesn't want to push, despite Puck and Leshrac being dead for the moment. It looks like Sylar is going to push out. I don't think this game is clear cut as I kind of looked at it 10 minutes ago. I think LGD could still win this, to be completely honest.
Late game Dota is never clear cut. I mean, it's whoever gets the jump on the enemy team is always gonna have a shot, unless they're way too far behind. And you look at the gold graph, 10k gold means very little right now, and it's basically dead even in terms of experience. Sylar's gonna push straight down mid. He's got buyback, wants to force the issue against TongFu, at least get the lanes pushed in. Roshan is about to respawn, and if he gets Aegis and his buyback, then maybe, just maybe, could turn the game around. Although, truth be told, he doesn't have room for it, and this is probably where you want Yao to get the Aegis, because he just died. He bought back. If he dies again, that could potentially cost LGD the game. We now enter the 50-minute mark. It's the Dota 2 Super League, the perfect world. 1 million RMB coming out party for Chinese Dota. Approximately 160,000 US dollars in prize pool. The biggest event outside of the International 2013, which, oh, by the way, just recently clipped $2 million. So shout out to all you guys who bought compendiums. I did too. How? Looking for Sylar here. Well, not looking for him, but he will find him. He's got buyback, but you don't want to be throwing that away foolishly. And now the elaborate dance that is the Roshan engagement begins.
Yeah, he's got to be very happy that there isn't any kind of Scythe of Ice or any instant initiation, so it's very easy for him to actually, if he sees Bat coming to blink in and initiate on him, he just activates Abyssal and kill him right back. So that's why you don't see Bat Rider looking for as aggressive of a jump as he has been. Sylar pinging his team right now. Like, they're actually getting to quick equilibrium closer and closer to TongFu's side. This is actually kind of a scary moment for TongFu. You've been in the game. Your foot is in the doorway. You've been trying to win this game for the last 20 minutes. It's so easy for them, for Radiant to find a pick and win the game straight right now.
This could be the initiation for LGD with TongFu posturing down the ramp right now. They'll sit back up on top of it. If they sat down there for a few more seconds, I think LGD might have looked to go, but they're not going to dive when there's multiple counter initiators lurking on the high ground. So in the end, well, we're back to farming for the time being, Lumi, and the familiars are scouting Roche, so LGD is not going to pull a fast one here on TongFu.
Well, Anti-Mage right now has enough for buyback and a boot to travel after death and buyback. Another double damage.
Oh my god. It's the god strat. Just wait for the late game double damage on your hard carry, and then you go in.
I remember there's a pub game I played with Gods like a year ago. That was a God strat that we went for. We waited for 20 minutes before a double damager actually came up, and we still won the team fight 4 revive without Gods. He was playing tiny. But hopefully the game will be a little bit different here today.
Yeah, well, the strat is supposed to be that you use the double damager to win the game for your team, but winning the game while your team winning the game while you're busy farming is a-okay as well. Sylar, like you said, he's got the boots to travel buyback. There's nothing else for him to farm at this point. I don't really think there's an item you want to replace here. This is pretty much your ideal kit, because Spectre is hitting very hard. You want the butterfly, there's a lot of magic damage, you want the heart, you want the lockdown of the Abyssal. I don't really see a change. I mean, maybe he could switch to an MKB once the heart of, or rather the butterfly is complete on Hal, but Anti-Mage is pretty much done farming. So now, yeah, you do want to give your farm to the team, aside from just keeping the lanes pushed out. TongFu trying to sneak a Roche. Can they do it? DDC is going to lead the charge. There is a gem on Banana. They'll all back out. Roche is low. Sylar might be able to snipe this one. Moo lurking on the high ground. Patience from TongFu for the time being. And now LGD says, we're going to push mid back in. We're going to force you to go defend. And as soon as you do, we're taking a Roche.
Patience from Na'Vi. Waiting in the wake.
No waiting in the wings. Just patience right now.
That was so good. Can I say that was so good? I'm not supposed to say it, but that was pretty good.
Hey man, it was all right. Sylar's on the run. Dagger's gonna slow him down. Sylar thinking about going back in, working on the illusions here. Split Earth brings them down. I'm trying to get excited, man, but TongFu is just playing this so slow, so patient, and so too is LGD. But you know, this is only the calm before the storm.
Yeah, it is. Again, kind of a big posturing back and forth. There's a wild Observer War on the ground. That needs to get devoided by LG. Do they not have gem? That's gotta be a mistake, right?
No, they do. DDC's got one, Banana's got one. Both teams have a gem. King J's looking to go in. Where's that blink? No. Sylar's not the one you want to jump on, I feel. Not when he's got boots to travel buyback, as well as being a 6-slotted anti-mage. And
they understand that as well. Yeah, Sylar's just standing so next to the enemy team, so yeah, come on,
Go on me, bro. Well, speaking of which, Hal doesn't have buyback. Sylar jumps in. He's gonna force the fight. Oh, Banana with the Ghost Scepter turns it around, keeps him alive. Now Sylar forced to blink away. The global was thrown out, but right after that blink, so Sylar's gonna hoof it out of there. Shao 8-2. RP catches 2. This could be good. Sure, Sylar's got the boots to travel buyback. If you kill the supports, what will be left? They find 2. Sylar's gonna fall as well. Hal hunts him down. Now he buys back, and TongFu says, we got what we came for. Get DDC and probably get out after that. Or maybe not. Maybe they could just win the game here with 2 heroes dead, take the Roche, and not even care.
Question the decision-making of Sylar here. I guess if you jump on Silencer and kill him kind of flat out like that, then there is no global, and the teamfight gets completely one-sided for LGD, but it didn't happen like that. In fact, Sylar... Is King J lagging?
What a time for a pause. I imagine there must be lag. You would know better than me, but...
Yeah, I think that's what both team is suspecting right now.
Well, we'll wait through the pause, but oh my goodness, King J scythe up right now is dead to rights with Sylar right here. It looks like, unless the familiar stun could turn this around. So actually, maybe it could. Mu doesn't have RP. I'm a little surprised TongFu tried to go in with the buyback.
Yeah, I was surprised myself.
Let's see what happens, though. This is going to be an interesting fight to unravel. We won't have more time to talk about it. The unpause comes right now. Watch the familiar. See if it can stun everyone. I imagine Sylar will look to run away. The unpause not happening just yet. A little bit of chit-chat for both teams. Just waiting for the unpause. Any second now. It's game 1 of this best of 3. LGD China. Well,
it's only game 1. God, there's 2 more games like this.
This feels like an 80-minute game. It's just been such a chess game for both teams. Very tactical, very patient. The unpause being counted down now by Sosa, our GameFi admin. Here we go. 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 Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Unpause. King J caught and is going to drop in a matter of seconds. Sylar able to bring one down. Now he's got to fight his way through Hao and DDC. He brings down one. He's winning the man fight so far. Hao's probably got a back. No, maybe not. Not with the amount of damage he gets from Empower. Now Yao dropping quick, falling fast. Sylar 2 forced to run. Mu blinks in. Can't quite find that puck in time. He will get away. It's now a 2-on-4. Roche is at half HP. And if you're Sylar, he's going to jump in. He won Sanction. I don't know if he can do it. Yes, he can with that Monovoid. But now Sylar lassoed up. If he goes down here, they are probably losing the game. He's going to blink away. He's barely alive. The chase is here from KJ. 2 or 3 more hits enough to bring him down.
No buyback.
No buyback, and this might be it, Lumi. 95 seconds on the sideline for our anti-mage. TongFu, do they go Roche? Do they go mid?
No, they go for the win right now. Yeah, and it's going to be up to LGD to defend this. There is no lasso. RP's back up. Unfortunately, Magnus don't have mana. Han is going to be back up. Mana is also becoming an issue here for the Spectre, but it doesn't matter. You don't need mana to right-click this base, and that's exactly what Hao and the rest of the team will be doing.
He's going to work away on the tower here. The tier 3 starting to drop pretty fast. Burrow Strike just to slow him down. But remember, all these heroes in LGD, they lose so much health trying to kill Hao. And with a Butterfly as well as a Heart, he can tank the tower shots all day long. The tower's dropping. Global Silence is cooling down. RP's online. Just needs the mana. He will have it. He's pretty low, though, Mu. Is maybe a backstab here can turn this around. They're going to lose Rax. Will they lose more? Still 50 seconds and counting. Sylar on the sidelines, unable to do anything. But watch while his base starts to evaporate around him. Now they'll back off. TongFu taking it late, Lumi, and just having those better engagements. It looks like they're going to get Roche, and if they get Roche and they have a lane of Rax and they have a Spectre who still has buyback, it's very hard for LGD to take this game.
Still, it's not impossible because that one lane of Rax doesn't really mean anything. The Aegis is a bigger problem, though. The buyback available, that's another huge problem. So let's see if LGD is going to... I don't want to say this, but they're going to try to turn over 6 more minutes. They're going to avoid fights unless TongFu just straight up and take it to their face. This is also where you want to say, hey, Didi, take up your points on Cosmic Finale. You're going to be the carry now. You're going to be taking a ton of farm. You're going to be pushing out these wave. Maybe get a Blink Dagger. It's the latest Blink Dagger ever, but it helps split push. Maybe you go for a Scythe. Maybe you go for BKB. There's a ton room left for growth for these other heroes that hasn't been receiving a ton of farm. And I think Sylar needs to kind of chill it. Apply those breaks on those farming gears because the rest of the team needs it.
You're right in a sense because obviously the rest of the team will benefit more from the farm, but who else is going to keep the lanes pushed out really fast? It's only Sylar who can reliably and instantly mode on a creep wave. Sand King can do it, but it's not as fast. It's not going to really keep the... Like, you're fighting against the tide of the creep waves, basically. And Sylar, well, he's the best one at kind of pushing that tide back. So, he'll continue to farm, and I can't really fault him for doing it, even if it does mean that his team gets a little bit less. And now LGD, if they want to wait out that Aegis, they've got about 4.5 minutes or so. Sorry, 5 minutes to go.
Any kind of thoughts on maybe having a Divine Rapier waiting in the base, and during that critical defense, swap out your Battle Fury for a Divine? I mean, you still want the Battle Fury for now, and looks like sold the Battle Fury for MKB. And the reason I've been saying that you want Battle Fury is because, like LD's kind of talked about, how good it is in terms of pushing out the creep equilibrium, you know, dealing with the tide of creeps that's coming in. But MKB against Evasion, I guess.
He just doesn't have room for a Divine Rapier. The Butterfly is essential against Spectre with this number of items. The Abyssal Blade is needed to blow someone up at the start of the fight, because that's how LGD wins a fight, is if Sylar can find a pick-off quickly. If it's sort of a more orderly fight, I feel TongFu are going to take it. So he needs the Abyssal. Obviously, he needs Manta Style because he's freaking anti-mage. Well, Heart's pretty important, too, to not die real fast, so I just don't know what Sylar could replace, even if he wanted to go Divine. You need MKB to deal with the Spectre's Evasion. And I think I pretty much covered every other item, so I just don't think there's any other options, Lumi. I think he's
treads.
He's got to sit on what he has. Yeah, you need the treads. You need the mobility. Maybe you can get Boots of Travel. You need boots. This is not a siege engine kind of anti-mage.
You got Blink, man. That is the best kind of boots.
That's not boots.
That's indeed, it is not boots. Are we gonna see a okay? It's gonna be 4-staff coming on Nyx Assassin. For a second I thought it was a Dagon, which is probably not a good choice when you're going 58 minutes in. But here we go, LGD trying to hold on to the base. Hal's gonna be leading. He's gonna eat a ton of stuns in the front line. Flame Lasso initiation. It's gonna be on Chalet once again. Where's the global? It's gonna be coming out just in time, but they're gonna try to burst out Mu. They'll RP. Gonna be just on use of Sylar. Second RP comes against the Sylar as well. He's down to half HP. He's actually gonna tank everything. They need Vlads or something for this guy to get lifesteal. He's gonna try to fight his way out of there. I'm not sure whether he has buyback or not just yet. Sylar, regardless, will survive. How on the front lines here? He still has Aegis. He's so damn tanky. Nobody's actually bringing him down. And I think they've did it. They kind of broke the high ground. Everybody's low. They have to heal back up. And Hal, he's healing with the heart in the front line with the butterfly and just working on that tier 3.
He might drop here, but remember, he's got Aegis and then he's got Boots to Travel buyback on top of it all. DDC dropping low, not dead just yet. Here we go. Hal, round 2. Fight. Will he man up? Will he run away? Hard to say. Yao jumps in, can't quite find a kill. Now we'll have to see if he can get out of there. Hal, though, is being focused under the shadow of the enemy tier 3. He will go down, but Banana lives. And here comes your buyback. Here comes your haunt. Here comes a Spectre party. Once that anti-mage. Sylar blinks away, runs back in. I'm not sure if this is the call that you want to make. He does a buyback, though, so maybe it is triple for Sylar, and he gets out of there. But while he's busy healing, the Racks are dying. Almost one of those situations where you can't afford to go heal. It's better to die and then just get the instant respawn. He does a buyback, still not using it. They get 2 lanes of Racks, and now LGD. Well, Lumi, it's like the sand in the hourglass just slowly trickling away. I feel they're running out of options and opportunities here. TongFu, 7k on Howard, he just bought back. This is time for a big item. He'll go for a Demon Edge. When he gets his MKB, Hal, or Sylar rather, is not going to be nearly as tanky as he was in the past few fights.
Yeah, MKB real turned how these man fights have been going. I mean, Sylar was actually able to blow away 2.5 life from that Spectre. The Aegis was used, and then the second life, and then the buyback con came in. And to be honest, if Sylar was high enough HP to 1v1 man fight, would have brought her down a third time. And that's where you kind of be like, is anti-mage really supposed to be this strong? To me, the fact that LGD doesn't have one or even multiple Vlads to make sure you still have the Vlad's aura when that person dies is a travesty. Lestrak does have the Vlads, but he gets focused in the beginning of team fight every time anyway, so you might as well don't have it. Maybe instead of a 4-staff on Nyx Assassin, Vlad's is just a better item purchase because your anti-mage needs to be man-fighting 24/7.
Nobody's tanky on this team, let's be honest. It doesn't matter who carries the Vlads.
4 Vlads, I don't care. Make sure Sylar can fight.
Come on, Lumi. You're really stretching here, buddy, I gotta say. Well, it's true, though. Sylar does need the lifesteal badly, but I don't think buying more Vlads is really the solution. I think, if anything, this is a team that just needs more things like Ghost Scepters, 4-staffs, and BKBs, to be honest, for LGD. Maybe even a Sight Device. Even something like a Yule Scepter for some of these heroes could be helpful. Getting items like Vanguard, well, I mean, at this point, doesn't do much for you. DDC does have a 4-staff, so I think those are the items you really want, just to kind of live through that initial barrage of RP, Lasso, and Global as long as humanly possible. But at the end of the day, LGD, it's really starting to feel desperate for them. They've got to make something happen before the next Roche. If they don't, they just lose. Because with Aegis and then Cheese going on TongFu, there's going to be no way for LGD to take a fight. TongFu still sitting on 3 lanes of Racks. In game 1, it's turning into a real grind fest. Both teams duking it out to the bitter end. And it's looking good for TongFu, but they haven't finished the deal yet. It's a 40k nearly net worth anti-mage right now for Sylar. That is about as fat as you can get. He's richer than God and all the angels put together. But money doesn't win Dota games. Killing the throne does.
They're going for the win right now. They're giving away a range racks for free. They're saying, you know what, we cannot drag this game than it actually is. Gonna just go for it here. Sylar does have buyback and boots travel still.
But the last one's gonna start him, shall we? He gets held in position. That Lance will go down soon. RP1, RP2. Moo is delivering like a champ. DDC to fall as well, and this looks to be the end for LGD. There's a buyback from Sylar. He'll try and stem the tides, but he can't save his buddy. The puck will fall as well. And as farmed as this 6-slotted anti-mage may be, Sylar is not going to out-carry the full 5-man lineup of TongFu. And LGD, like you said, it was a gambit. They had to take that kind of a risk, but Moo was there with a double RP, and he wins them the fight, and he wins them the game. He gave up 2 kills early, Lumi. He lost his lane hard, but he delivered when it really counted. TongFu on the back of that Magnus play, and overall, just great team play, I feel, more than anything else, are going to take game 1 in this best of 3.
And look at that goal graph. It's just kind of going all the way down. What a swing. What a swing. Again,
Truly.
never count out TongFu. Yeah, like, kind of halfway through, like 30 minutes in, you kind of look at the team, it's like, yeah, these guys could go late, and that's exactly what happened. They played perfectly. The RPs, I have to kind of give credit to Boo. Like you said, gave away first blood, but those RP are so good at the end, and the refresher kind of took it to the next level.
It's that age-old channel in Chinese Dota. It's all about breaking the base, and TongFu had so many good heroes to stop that, between using global offensively to prevent LGD from grouping up, finding pickoffs, Batrider with Blink, Lasso, and Force Staff, RP from Magnus, and of course the Spectre Haunt. All these abilities can just disrupt your combo, disrupt your push. LGD could never get comfortable and park themselves for a siege the way we've seen a lot of other teams be able to do and to execute in previous games. So as a result, TongFu, book it. They take game 1. They're now leading 1-0 in the best of 3 set. It's not over yet, though. LGD, they've got the International 3 East qualifiers coming up, Lumi, in just about 36 hours or so. So they can't be resting easy, but they got to find a way to pull this one out. Else, they'll drop to 1-2 in the group. For the Dota 2 Super League, I'm LD, he's Luminous. It was a whopper of a game 1, but we're not done yet. Stay tuned. Game 2, next.